Hello and welcome to Teach Me English. Today we have a topic, The Night the Bed Fell by James Grover Thurber. This is a humorous story, and actually this story is just an excerpt from my life and hard times. Okay, we have taken one chapter, the first chapter, introduction, you can say. Okay, it's an introductory chapter of the story, and by understanding this chapter you can understand how funny or how humorous the whole book could be. Let us proceed further to know about the author, and then we would move toward the story. James Grover Thurber was an American cartoonist, author, journalist, playwright, and celebrated wit. Means is very much notable for his witty work. So you can see the profile: cartoonist, author, journalist, playwright. So you can understand the importance of the person. Though in his early life he had a struggle, but once he joined the New Yorker magazine, from that time his life changed and moved toward the life of prosperity. He was born in the year 1894, where in Columbus, Ohio, and died in 1961. Now Thurber, best known for his cartoons and short stories that, as I told you, that used to be published mainly in which the New Yorker magazine. Okay? And his work, you will always find humor in the work. That's why he is very much popular as humorist of his time. Okay, what he has done, actually he has shown the ordinary people, different kind of ordinary people with their frustration. This story which we are doing today, that is The Night the Bed Fell, is an excerpt from this My Life and Hard Times. So there, though he has written other notable work, that is My World and Welcomes to It. Let us proceed further toward the story. The story, The Night the Bed Fell, I had already told you, it is the first chapter of My Life and Hard Times by James Thurber. And he himself, James Thurber himself, is the narrator here. Okay, and he describes about his family member. I told you, family member, they have different features, all definitely humorous feature they have. The important thing is what? The chaos in the family due to the fall of bed one night. This we would say. This is the plot, actually, the most important theme. Chaos in the family due to the fall of bed one night. Let us proceed to understand the story in detail. So the story begins in this way. I suppose that the high water mark means, and please note down the green words. All these green words are the meaning of those underlined words. The author starts in the line that high water mark. What is a high water mark? Means the highest level of my youth. He means to say that this is one of the highest level of incident occurred in his youth. What is that? The night the bed fell on my father. It makes a better recitation. He means to say that it is better to tell the story, then it does a piece of writing, then to write the story. Okay, it is better to tell the story than to write the story. Here compare telling the story and writing the story. Okay, now first of all, understand this thing also. He said that whatever the story, like the bed fell on his father. Okay, this is his story. He said it is his friend would tell that they have heard this thing 5 or 6 times. It means this is a frequent thing where this kind of incident frequently occur in his house. Okay, now though this is given in the bracket, so it is extra he has added, but here let us understand. He says that it is better to recite, means tell the story, than to write. Why? Because when you write something, what it requires a proper atmosphere. That is necessary to throw furniture. Means if you are speaking about the incident or some accident at home, so you have to show that furniture is thrown somewhere, shake door, bark like a dog. Means this atmosphere is required to be created, atmosphere of chaos, means a chaotic atmosphere is required. Okay, everywhere you have to create sound, everywhere you have to show that some hustle and bustle is occurring in the house. These things are required. So he said to lend the proper atmosphere. So to create the proper atmosphere, so furnitures should be thrown, doors should be shaken, dog would bark, people would run here and there, they would shout, a chaos would be there. Okay. Now, so this is a proper atmosphere. When you write something, so you have to create all these things. Okay, and then what happened? What it does? It is verisimilitude. It means that you have to create a kind of atmosphere. Verisimilitude means which is not true, but it seems like, it seems to be true. Okay, so you have to create this kind of atmosphere which seems to be true. Okay, to what is admittedly a somewhat incredible tale. Why? Then only you will be able to make incredible tale. It will create a great tale. That seems to be true atmosphere, it gives life to the tale, that he means to say. Still, it did take place. He means to say that the bait fell on his father. It's not only a tale, it happened. It happened in his life. He said that it happened that his father had decided already that he would sleep in the attic, as I told you, okay, a place under the roof on that night. And mother, she opposed the notion. She said no, she did not allow the father to sleep in the attic because it had the old wooden bed which might break anytime. It is wobbly, means that is weak and shaking, and above the bed there was a heavy headboard, and it may happen that it may fall on father's head and father would die. So mother has a fear. She is afraid that something dangerous would occur to father, some peril would occur to father. So she asked her husband not to sleep that in the attic. But father, he did not listen. That is, there was no dissuading, means unable to convince to try, means the person would do that thing. Okay, so but father could not listen, and he went to that attic at 10:15, means 10:15 at night, and he closed the door behind and went up to that upper stair at the attic. And he said that we later heard ominous, means threatening or unauspicious, means by listening those sound you feel afraid. So we heard ominous creaking sound which is created or produced when you walk on some wooden board, okay, wooden plank or wooden board. When the father crawled into the bed, they heard that creaking sound. They were afraid that the bed might break and the father might fall down. Generally in the attic, grandfather used to sleep. But today he is not present there, so father, he went there to sleep. Okay, and see, this is what happened, that disappeared some days before, and he has the habit that sometimes he disappeared for 6 or 8 days, grandfather. Okay, and after that he would come growling, shouting, out of temper. He would come with the news that the Federal Union, it's a party which is in the northern side during the Civil War, during the American Civil War, was run by a PESL, means group of blockhead idiot people. And the Army of Potomac, means one of the northern armies even, okay, they were even not working better, and they were also fooled. So he is still in a delusion. He still believed that the American Civil War of 1860 has not ended. Here we could understand or learn about the other members of the family. First of all, we have the character that is Briggsbill, who is the cousin of the narrator, and he believed that he was likely to cease breathe when he was asleep. He has a belief that when he would sleep, automatically he would stop his breathing, or his breathing would stop. Okay, so what he does, he used to wake up at the interval of every hour. So what he has done, as I told you, so he had been accustomed, means he has habituated to setting an alarm clock to ring at intervals until morning, means every 1 hour intervals until morning. He said, I persuaded him to abandon his habit, means he convinced his brother Briggsbill to leave that habit of setting the alarm. Since Briggs Bill, he used to sleep in the room of the narrator, and this disturbed him a lot. He said, I told him that I was such a light sleeper, means I wake up frequently at night, even if anybody quit breathing in the same room with me. The narrator told his brother that if he, means Brig Bill, if he would stop or if he would quit his breathing, so instantly he would wake him up. So Briggs Bill, what he did, he tested him one night. And what happened? By holding his breath, Briggs Bill, he held his breath for some time to see whether James woke up or not. It was good that James was not sleeping, and instantly James called to him by his name. Listening to this, what happened? That this seemed to allay, means lessen, reduce his fear a little, for some time, a little, but still he has the habit of taking precaution. What he used to do? Precaution of putting a glass of spirits of camphor on a little table at the head of his bed. The smell of the camphor was so strong that it would awake him. It means if the alarm would fail, if his cousin James would not be able to awake him, and he thought that he would be dying at the time, the smell would revive him, means the smell would awake him. He said he would sniff, means smell the camphor, a powerful reviver, and he would come out of the sleep. He said that Briggs was not only the member of his family who had his crotches. What is that? Idiotic fancy or imagination. Means there are other people also, they have this kind of idiotic imagination. Old Aunt Clarissa Beale, what she does? Then see the thing, she would whistle like a man with 2 fingers in her mouth. She could do those things like the boys used to do. They keep 2 fingers inside their mouth and they whistle. Now, so what she does, Aunt Clarissa Beale suffered under the premonition, means a strong feeling inside you that something wrong would occur to you. So she has the feeling that something wrong would occur to her. What is that? She was destined to die on South High Street. Why? Because she was born here, because she was married here, so she would die at that place. Another aunt is Aunt Sarah Schoff. She had believed that every night burglar was going to get in and blow chloroform under her door through a tube. She had believed that the burglar would come to her house and they would blow chloroform in her house, or especially in her bedroom, and she would be fainted. So to avert, means to prevent this calamity, that the burglar would come and they would blow the chloroform that is under her door and she would be fainted. This is a calamity for her. Why calamity? Because she was in greater dread, means fear of anesthetic than of losing her household goods. Anesthetic means of being fainted. She is greater afraid of being anesthetic, means being fainted, than of losing any of her household goods. She does not fear about the burglars would plunder their home, loot them and rob them. She piled her money, silverware and all valuable things where just outside her bedroom, and she gave their note, take all these things and don't use chloroform. So it's a kind of definitely a kind of idiotic imagination or fancy. Next is Aunt Gracie Schoff. She had burglar phobia, means she is afraid of burglar a lot, but she met it with more fortitude, means mental strength, means she is prepared. She is prepared to fight with them. Not like Aunt Sarah Schoff, that she was afraid of the burglar and she would give them everything. No, she was not like that. What she used to do? Here Aunt Gracie Schoff, she was also confident and confirmed that every day burglars had been getting into her house. Burglars were entering into her house. She was confirmed, though it never occurred, never happened that a burglar entered into their home, but she was confirmed. And this had been occurring for 40 years. And every night, every single night, she had this belief though she had never seen any burglar. And what she used to do, she used to throw shoes down the hallway, thinking there would be some burglars. She accumulated, or she piled all the shoes in the house at one place, means in her bedroom. Okay. From there, she used to throw those shoes without saying who the person would be there, without saying. Down the hallway, she used to throw those shoes. 5 minutes after she had turned off the light, she used to intentionally turn off the light. Okay, and just after 5 minutes, what she would do, she would sit up in bed and say hark. Hark means to listen. She would ask her husband to see if there would be any burglar, but her husband had learned to ignore her. Either be sound sleep or pretend to be sound sleep. Means he showed his wife that he was asleep. He won't be able to wake up. Though she used to tug him and pull him so that he would also arise, and he would also throw those shoes at the burglars, but he did not get up. What she did then, presently she would rise and tiptoe, means quietly, she walked to the door, she opened it slightly and started throwing the shoes down the hallway, one pair at one side and another pair at the other side in the hallway. It was midnight and they were all in bed. They didn't understand about the rooms, the layout of the rooms, and the disposition, means the arrangement, where who was sleeping in the rooms. Now he started here that, first of all, in the front room, upstairs, just under father's attic bedroom, my mother and my brother Herman, where his mother and brother Herman, they slept. And I already told you that his brother, in his dream, he had the habit of singing song, marching through Georgia or onward Christian soldiers. Now, then his cousin Briggs Bale and he himself, means narrator himself, James Thurber himself, were in a room adjoining to this, means adjoining to his mother's room. Okay, remember, below the attic there is a room. That room is occupied by James' mother and his brother Herman. Okay, there is an adjacent room where James and Briggs Beals are sleeping. Then his other brother, that is Roy, he was in a room across the hall from us. It means across the hall means the room is not adjacent to his mother or his brother. Okay, he has the room that is across the hall, and the dog Rex, he was sleeping in the hall. This is what the atmosphere he has created till now. Okay, so you can understand, if anything would occur, all of them would come to the hall room, and there would be a great chaos in the hall room. His bed was an iron cot bed. Okay, you can see the picture, understand this is a feature of the bed. Okay. So it's wide enough to sleep on comfortably only by putting up flat with the middle section. Okay, means if you sleep in the middle of the bed, you will be able to sleep comfortably on the bed. Okay, the two sides, which ordinarily hang down like the sideboard of a drop leaf table. Okay, you can see the picture, understand that two sideboards could be hung down or it could be raised up. He told that when these sides are up, when these two sideboards are up, means not hanging down, up, okay, it is perilous, dangerous to roll too far toward the edge. Okay, means you can't go at the side of the, means near to the boards, near to those up board, you can't go to those side boards. Why? What will happen? For then the cot is likely to tip completely over, bringing the whole weight down on top of one with a tremendous banging crash. Okay, this might happen, means because of those two sideboard, okay, the side becomes heavy, both the sides become heavy. If you roll toward any of the sides, okay, what happened, that there is a great chance of falling down with the beds on top of the person, that he was sleeping on one such kind of dangerous bed, that if he would roll to any of the side, then he would he would fall down and the bed would be on him. This in fact is precisely what happened. Actually, this happened to him. Means the bed did not fall on his father, rather on him. About 2 o'clock in the morning, they all went to sleep at 10:15 approximately, and this incident occurred at 2 o'clock in the morning. Now, always a deep sleeper, James lied to Briggs Beale that he was a light sleeper. In fact, he was a deep sleeper. I was at first unconscious of what had happened. What had happened when the iron cot rolled on me onto the floor and toppled, overturned over me. It happened at 2 o'clock that James, he moved toward the any of the side and he fell down. The bed also overturned on him and he was in such a sleep, that he was still unconscious of what happened to him. He was lying on the floor and the bed was on him. The bed had two sides. It acted like the two legs of the chair. It was like canopy, means high cover on him, and he don't realize that he fell down and the bed was over him. Okay, he did not wake up, only reached the age of consciousness and went back for some time. For slightly he woke up and then again went to sleep, but they could not understand what happened to him. Okay, the racket, means the loud noise of the bed falling, the bed overturning, not falling, the bed overturning, I must say. Okay, the bed was overturned on the narrator. Okay, there was a loud noise. Other members of the family, they all woke up, but he was not. He was in such a deep sleep. Okay, instantly awakened his mother in the next room. He was already afraid that there would be some danger for her husband in that attic, and that's why she was half conscious in her sleep. She was the first person to awake in the next room, who came to the immediate conclusion. What? She started screaming, "Let us go to your father, poor father." Okay, and she was trying to awaken Herman, her another son. Okay, she was trying to awaken him, though he was also in sleep, and he thought that the mother had become, for no apparent reason, hysterical, means mental disorder. He thought that maybe she was behaving this thing in her sleep, so he told her, "You are all right, mama," he shouted, trying to calm her down, that nothing happened, don't worry, you're all right. Okay, but her mother, she was continuously screaming, "Let us go to your poor father," and he was shouting, "You are all right." Both of them were continuously shouting. Listening to this shout, Briggs Beale awake. By this time, narrator, he was conscious and he understood what had happened, and Briggs awakening in the midst of the loud shout of fear and apprehension, and Briggs was unable to control himself and came to the quick conclusion that he was suffocating, and we were all trying to bring him out. He was shouting. He thought that he was suffocating, and though nothing happened to him, because he had that fancy in him that he would die of suffocation, so started thinking that he was suffocating, and all the other people, like James and James' mother and brother, they were all trying to bring him out of his suffocation. Though Briggs, he was already awakened, but he thought that he was in sleep. He was in sleep and he was dreaming that he was suffocating. So people were trying to bring him out of his sleep, and so that he would be alive. With a low moan, he grabs the grass of camphor at the head of his bed, and instead of sniffing it, poured it over himself. Okay, because his eyes were closed. He was awakened, his eyes were closed. He reached his hand to the glass of the camphor. He poured the camphor over his head, and you can understand the unpleasant smell of the camphor throughout the whole room choked Briggs like a drowning man. He was suffocating because of those smell, but he almost succeeded in stopping his breath under the deluge, means flood of pungent, that strong smell of the spirit. Okay, so now exactly he was suffocating under that strong smell, that pungent smell of the spirit. He jumped out of the bed and groped, means that is, he tried to search for something. He was searching something. He used hand to feel something toward the open window so that he could get fresh air. And he came up against one what was closed. He came to the window which was closed and he was trying to open it. Okay, with his hand he beat out and destroyed the glass of the window. He destroyed the glass of the window and could hear it crash. He came to the window and the window was closed. Okay, he could not understand what to do. He crashed the window, means he broke the glass of the window. And at that point, in trying to get up, had the uncanny strange sensation of feeling my bed above me. So till now, so many things had occurred. He could not realize actually that his bed was over him and he was under the bed. Because when he heard the sound of the glass, crashing sound of the glass, so he thought that he could also get up and help breaks. So when he tried to get up, he found that he was under his bed. Forgive sleep means that he woke up from the sleep at that instant only, so he could not able to see anything. So he understood that all this uproar means all this shouting, and chaos in the room. Okay, in a frantic endeavor, frantic means a mad, and endeavor means what called the labor, endeavor to extricate, means to free me from what must be an unheard of and perilous situation. He don't understood. He thought that people were shouting to free him out of the situation. Okay, get me out of this, he shouted, bawled. Get me out. I think I had the nightmares belief that I was entombed in a mine. He thought he was thinking that he had a nightmarish, means he had a bad dream that he was entombed, means uncovered, means under the tomb in a mine. He thought that he was buried in a mine. Gas breaks, floundering, confusedly struggling in his camphor. Okay. By this time, my mother is still shouting, pursued by Herman. Both of them were shouting continuously. She was asking, let us go to the poor father, and Herman was continuously telling that you are all right, mother. The mother was trying to go to father, and that my father body is out of wreck, means damage. Out of the damage, she could take out father's body to see whether he was alive or not. She was trying to open the door. The door was stuck. However, she could not open it, but she was continuously pulling it and banging it. Okay, so there was a confusion generated because of her banging the door. Roy and Dog both were also awakened, and the one shouting question, the other barking. Roy was asking questions, who was there, what happened, and the dog was continuously barking. Generally in the attic, the sound did not reach, so that's why the word is used farthest away. And father is also a soundless sleeper. But this time what happened? This battering mother went to the door and she was battering, means she was knocking at the door continuously, the door of the attic continuously. So he was awakened. He decided that the house was on fire. His father thought that his house was on fire, and he woke up instantly. Okay, he told, I'm coming, I'm coming. He wailed in slow, sleepy voice. Okay, because he was sleeping, so he said, oh, I'm coming, he was shouting. Okay, it took him many minutes to regain full consciousness. The much time he took, eventually he was in sleep, deep sleep. And mother, she was still believing that the father was caught under the bed, and definitely father must have been suffocating. The father said, I'm coming. The mournful, resigned note of one who is preparing to meet his maker. Maker is God. Okay, when father told, I'm coming, and the sound was like, not that he was hurrying, he was speaking in a low tone. I'm coming. Mother thought that the father was about to die. That's why he was speaking such a manner, and he was speaking this thing to the God that, yes, I'm coming to you, God. I'm dying, I'm coming, God. She thought that the father was dying. She shouted, he's dying, he's dying. When the mother was shouting for father, Briggs thought that she was actually shouting for him, since he was suffocating and dying. I'm all right. Briggs yelled to reassure her, I'm all right, don't worry, I'm not dying, because he already thought that he was suffocating, he would die. So Briggs, from there from the room, he was shouting that I'm all right, don't worry. He still believed that it was his own closeness to death. Means Briggs was thinking that he was also very much close to death, and because of that mother was worrying, whereas mother was worrying for father, because she thought that he was dying. Okay. At last what happened, the light was switched on in his room, and then he unlocked the door, means he opened the door. Briggs and he, both of them, went to the attic. Rex, he did not like Briggs, so he jumped for Briggs. So he thought that Briggs was the culprit of whatever happening in the house. Instantly, Roy, what he had done, he had thrown Rex and he held him so that he must not attack Briggs. We could hear father crawling out of bed up a stair. Roy pulled the attic door open and with a mighty jerk, okay, with a mighty jerk means with his full might, he actually threw the door open. Okay, he pushed the door open. Okay, and father came down the stair, sleepy, irritable means he was angry why these people were shouting, but safe and sound. Father, nothing happened to him. Mother began to weep when she saw him, and Rex began to howl. When mother wept, Rex was howling. Father asked, what in the name of God is going on here? Father asked, because he did not know all this chaos happened because of him. The situation was finally put together like a gigantic jigsaw puzzle. It means all of them have understood that what had actually happened. Father caught a cold from prowling around in his bare feet, because he was walking his bare feet, so he got cold. Otherwise nothing happened to him. Mother said, I'm glad. Mother was happy, and she said that your grandfather was, it was good that grandfather was not there, otherwise it would turn into the greatest chaos and problem in the house. This is in short the summary of the whole story. Read this thing, and also you read about the characters. The important characters and the activities I have here mentioned in separate. You can go through this and understand about the characters well. There are 10 characters which I have mentioned. Note down the words and their meaning and learn it. We would meet again with another video. Till then, goodbye. Thank you very much.